Hello, and welcome to Augmented Teachings. On today's episode, we will be discussing the repercussions of fear and hate. Thank you for joining us.
Trust in the journey. Let your spirit soar. With Augmented Teachings, we'll open the door.
So, like we were discussing off camera, there's been a lot going on.
There has.
And I think it's time that we really talk about the repercussions of fear and hate and the actions, the thoughts, really, and what's happening.
Right. And you know what? It's funny. Thank you for being on the show, Brandy and Robert. I want to talk about this subject and the repercussions of fear and hate, which will lead into different sides of the aisle, so to speak. You have conservative and liberal, and you guys weren't really on board, and I didn't want to push it because it can be very polarizing for our friends and family. And I literally asked God last night. I said, I need help. I can't do this by myself. And I tried. I couldn't do it. And boom, here we are today. You know, just chain of events. Something happened here, there, and then boom, you're here. And I really want to break this down because I see so many kids putting the proverbial bobby pin into this light socket, and they don't even realize it. So I want to break this down in a way that people can understand, and there's no backing away from it. So I'm looking at right now what the ICE agents have signed up for. They have signed up for a minefield, which they cannot get out of. On the other side of the veil, things are way different than they are here. So when you look at how we perceive things here, it's very cut and dry. And the way things play out on the other side of the veil is way different. So first of all, we are our soul. We are manifestations of God that were created to experience. God is the creator. We are the experiencers, no matter what color our skin is, because on the inside, our souls are always made of white light. All right? So when we look at that situation, we all have experiences, and all those experiences return back to source, return back home to God. Then you have to think of, okay, well, I created experience for this person that wasn't pleasant. Mm-hmm. How does that play out? So we're going to work this through. So you see an ICE agent, and it's first day on the job. And he's going to go and he's going to find the person on his list. And he's going to apprehend them and then put them in the car and take them away and go to a detention center. And he sees them and he's like, oh my gosh, he's right here. I'm going to go ahead and take care of this. He's in the driveway. I pull him out of the car. I put him on the ground. I take him out. On the other side of the veil, we go through something called a past life review. This past life review is the replaying of our whole life, but you have emotion attached. So when he's getting to this position again, and he's going through his past life review after he dies, of course, he goes to this past life review. He's going to revisit this whole situation, but it's not going to be the same. As soon as he starts tailing that car, he's going to start feeling anxiety he didn't feel before. He's going to start feeling panic and fear. And he's like, where's that coming from? That's coming from the passenger you're tailing. Mm. Then that person pulls in to the driveway. And that fear turns into terror as that person is being pulled out of that vehicle. Then as he's laying on the ground, he's going to feel that human being go through sorrow. Felt that he did not feel before. And it's going to be to the point to where it almost breaks him. Because he knows who was inside that house. And then once he gets to that certain point where he starts to lift that man out, the sorrow grows. Because the people inside are seeing what's happening. Mm-hmm. The officer doesn't know what's happening when he relived it. When he lived it the first time, but when he relived it, he'll see a mother seeing her son being taken. He'll see a wife losing her husband. He'll see a child losing their father. never knowing if they're going to see them again. That amount of sorrow will break a human being when you feel it from 4 different souls all at once. And then he had a realization, oh my God, this is the first arrest I made that day. I have to go through this 3 more times today alone. So he continues on his past life review. But wait a second. That situation's over, but I still feel the pain from that person I just arrested. Yes, you change the trajectory of that life. You will feel the pain of him going through the processing, going through the detainment center, and being shipped back home to a place he didn't even know because he's lived here since he was 5 years old.
Or to a prison.
You will feel that because you created that. Your action created it. And when you interact with another soul, that imprint is forever, and you will feel that. And the crazy thing is this. This person has it easy compared to Honan and Trump. And why is that? They didn't do any of this. They didn't create that situation. Yes, they did. The intent of Trump created this situation. Honan's actions implemented the intent. Therefore, they get to feel the interactions of every ICE agent all at once, every day, all day long. And every person in between in that flow of where that intent went will feel it. So you have an officer that has 5 ICE agents. He will feel the fear fear, hatred, and sorrow he's put into every single human because he allowed that to happen. He took an oath to the money or to a flag and not to love. When you go back home, you realize you weren't supposed to fall into the pitfalls of a false idol, of a flag or a cross or money. You were supposed to learn unconditional love. So he realizes that when he's reliving his past life review, oh my God, I wasn't supposed to be an ICE agent. Or if I was supposed to be in law enforcement, I was supposed to help the community, not punish people, right? Because it's going to play back. Same with Honan, same with Trump, same with everybody in between that power line of communication. They will all feel what happens. But the thing is not over after that. So what happens is after that ICE agent is done with his past life review and he's gone through all the horrors that he created through his actions and his attachment to money. Yeah. Or whatever fear he has, not having enough money, not living up to the ideals of the United States, whatever. God does not follow the laws of the United States. Once he's done with his past life review, he will see potential lives he can take on for himself. Some of those lives will keep him in the same position, where he's a white heterosexual Christian male, and he falls even farther away from the love of God. Or he can take on the mantle of being the thing he overly scrutinized. Mm-hmm. Being the thing that he over scrutinized in the past, so we can learn through firsthand knowledge of the pain and fear and terror that he put into others. Then he will learn humility and humbleness at a faster rate. Most souls choose that one. Even though you're like, I would never choose that. Mm-hmm. Your goal is to learn unconditional love. And the faster you do it, the faster you have to stop coming back to this place. Simple as that.
I totally agree. And I just want to take a moment to identify, everyone knows Robert, House of Frog, but, I am indigenous. I am native. Soy Shichimeca, Aguascalientes, Zacoteña, Crow Medicine. I represent. LA is my home, where I was born and raised, and the community is strong. I was growing up there in the 70s, man, where, you took care of each other. And rough at times, but the community always comes together, and you protect yourself from outsiders, right? And right now that's so much going on. So much of that. And for me, it's been a lifetime to understand that there is only two emotions: love and fear. And the pure love, maybe that the character or story of Jesus, a lot of people interpret as pure love, that is just love without fear, right? But those are the only two. Everything else are branches of fear. Hate, our government, and the way they're operating. I've been in courts. I've been in court where I had to choose between my mom and dad because of custody. And the judge is a coward to make a decision, and in front of a courtroom of adults has to say, who do you want to live with? Either way is heartache and misery. A betrayer to one parent. How do I know if I chose right or didn't choose right? It was a tremendous weight and burden and part of breaking my psyche as a young person. And these fucking people in charge come in and send these agents and rip people and families from their loved ones. Rip them at graduations. Hit their cars with armored vehicles. Hit unarmed civilians that are pleading with them to be human and choose humanity first. Those people have intent to crush life. And it is not a mistake that they pick jobs to do that. Right. They are not puppets. Everyone has a choice, and everyone has an innate ability to know right and wrong. Simple. You choose humans and not a fucking hammer to crush families, hope, dreams. I was just doing my job. You can stick it in your ass. You chose that job. You chose to take direction from hate under a Christian flag. Striking, inciting, maintaining a level of fear through military and force. That's the flag of your God? I don't know what God that is, but it ain't the one upstairs. It's the one created for man to feel good about their ego. And they're cowards.
Going back to what you were both talking about, our souls come here with a plan and a purpose. Mm-hmm. And we all have choice. We are also born with the power of volition, which is the power to choose. Sometimes we forget that because we're living in fear. We're living in lack. So we think, oh, we have to choose these jobs. We have to do this because somebody says I have to, or I'm in fear that if I don't do this to another person, that will be done to me. Or if I don't exclude these people, then something bad will happen to me because of the repercussions of ABC, XYZ. But at the core of it all, just as you talk about, the most important thing in our life's work is how we treat others, because there are no others. We are all one. There is no separation. We have these individual bodies, but we are not separate in essence. We come from love and we return to love. It is only here on this side of the veil that we forget that. And so we have to be mindful of our actions. And that is why we decided to have this show today, because there are some people that are applauding. They're saying, yes, that's justified. Keep doing that. I'm for that. And what is that doing? Because there's repercussions. Just because you're not the one out there doing it, but if you are for it and if you are applauding that, what is that doing to you? What are the repercussions of fear and hate from you, what you're doing?
Right.
And I want to say one last thing, and then I will move this on to one of you.
Yes.
There's a phrase or a saying, and I don't know who said it, but we'll look that up. If you can't help, then please do not hurt. Mm-hmm. Think about that.
Right.
If you can't help the people in the situation that they may find themselves in, do not add more hurt, because that is on you as a soul to stay in that karmic cycle.
Right. And there's a situation where people are like, well, these people that are here, they don't belong here, right? And you try that back home during your past life review, God will say just one thing. I'm in all of you. Now tell me, child, where I did not belong. We are the experiencer. Love doesn't create walls. Fear does. So whenever you say you don't belong here, you're telling God you don't belong here. Because that person is an emissary of love. That soul is an emissary of love. They may have forgotten it, as we all have from time to time. But it's here to learn love, to express love, and to bring back experiences to our Creator. Mm-hmm. And whenever you're saying you can't be here, you're telling the Creator you cannot have this experience. And we do not want you here. You're telling God you don't want them here, and you're saying you cannot have that experience here through that person's eyes. That is some grade A bullshit.
And that's that me mentality, right? Not the we mentality that we're all one. How can we co-create a world that truly works for everybody, that includes everybody, where we see each other as equal, as one, and where we can be as one human family, not in these individual societies and individual groups.
I say my daughter and son-in-law are in law enforcement. And I'm sure she does a good job, a lot of accomplishments, but right now he's coming to mind because his intent and purpose is to help people. You know, people make their choices. They're acting in a harmful way to themselves or others. You got to go through the court system, right? But when he interacts with people, he is giving him his thought and his advice, like from the intent, like, I want you to be better, right? Yes. And you're fucked up right now.
Yeah, you're going through something.
You know, but I am here to serve you, right? So serving the community. That's his intent. Right. And his trunk, he tells me he has pamphlets for this or that, resources, shelters, things like that.
Because he's
not
in
just
it for helping.
Men, but for women and families and things like that.
To protect and serve.
Right? And when we talk about past life reviews, he is going to feel the impact of those people's positive experiences because of his words and action, because of his intent.
Right.
Right.
And he has a law enforcement badge on him. It could be done.
Right.
It could be done with love.
He's
right?
that example. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Right. We're moving from a mindset
Beautiful story.
of hurting people, punishing people, which is a young soul mentality, to an old soul mentality of helping and protecting and trying your best to bring this person out of their situation. So we have a lot of things that we have to learn while we're here. And we always have the same job. Every single one of us has the same job, and that's to work the puzzle of unconditional love. And we cannot fall in the pitfalls of law enforcement, flags, crosses, attachments to money. If you fall in those pitfalls, you have to come back because you haven't overcome fear.
Yeah.
You have not put love first.
Right.
Now, I love my country. Sure, absolutely. I love law enforcement. Yes. But they're not above love. Love's first.
Love is always first.
And if the country says I have to go hate this person, then no, I won't do it. Mm-mm. I always choose love first. And when you get to that point, then there's not much left to learn because you are there. And there's a lot of protesters that are going to be going out in 2 days. This is Thursday. They'll be going out on Saturday.
That's right.
And
Here locally.
Yes. And they will be out there saying, no, humanity first, love first. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be a lot of pushback from the right Because they're not love first. They're fear, judgment, punishment. Mm-hmm. They're reactive punishment, not proactive acceptance.
Right.
And I understand that. That's a young soul. They're not bad. They just don't know any better yet. And that's the problem. They don't realize the repercussions of their actions.
But they're responsible
They're
for them.
still responsible. Matter of fact, karma is the great teacher. Mm-hmm. So Ron DeSantis came out and said that if you feel threatened by a protester, you can go ahead and run them over with your car, right? Doesn't realize the repercussions of that. If your intent create a situation where that person killed another person, that's on you because your words created it. He's like, no, well, that person was in the wrong place at the wrong time. No, that person had an out. Now, if that person's being pulled out of the car, it's different. But if you see somebody just slamming into them, the intent was to murder. That is on you because they got to go ahead on that.
Right, permission.
So say 10 people do it. He will feel the retribution of that played out upon him because karma stays with us. So if we put anger and judgment out into the world, next incarnation, we have no choice but to reap that and learn what it was like. So we stop doing that. That's why older souls will always lean towards a liberal mentality of love and acceptance, and you have fear and judgment on the younger souls that just have not learned how to reframe things in a loving way. Like I said, the person that's a police officer.
Yeah,
he's law enforcement, right? But he's positive,
right?
Protect and serve, not punish.
Not punish, right?
Right. So, and I think that's what's happening here is we move from a protect and serve mentality to now this right-wing regime that has moved towards fear and punishment. And people are saying, wait, not in this country. So they're not a lot of people say, well, if you're not for law enforcement, that's anti-American. Bull. You're not an American. We are manifestations of God. We are loving souls that come here to protect other souls. When you are in alignment with your soul, that's the problem. You're not in alignment with your soul, you're going to take law enforcement. If you are in alignment with your soul, you're going to protect those that are being harmed, that aren't given their due process, and are being attacked and abducted right off the street. So there's a difference between standing up for law enforcement and standing up for brutality.
Right.
And hate.
Exactly.
I will not stand up for that.
They're different things.
They're different things.
Sure.
And when you make an oath, and when you get back home, you realize your oath was to God, not to a flag.
That's absolutely right. And to understand that it's just another false flag to even say things are American.
Exactly.
You're United Statesican.
Right.
Right? Because the Americans, the indigenous, we are not colonizers. We take care of the land. We take care of
Each
other. What people call nature, we are nature. So we take care of it all, right? It's the coloners, the Europeans that came, and it's just their descendants that are still doing that today, right? And they based it on race. Those people fought each other in Europe. Do you think they said, "Oh, we're fighting the white guy here or the white guy there"? No, they were fighting. They used the terms French and this and that. They created the black man enemy, the brown man enemy,
as the others,
to come here and dominate the same way they were killing the white people in Europe. So, everything, the cycles keep continuing here. And those people that came in that colonization mind frame, identifying as Americans, it's just a false flag. Right. You identify as the United States, which is a small part of the Americas. And those people lay oaths to things that are man-created under those false flags of Christianity. Right? All those types of things. The oppression is going to stop when the awakening continues to increase, which it is doing now.
Right. And having these conversations helps to bring that to the collective consciousness.
And realistically, from all my NDE research, I've been doing this for over 12 years, our souls were created before the earth even cooled. There's no possible way they can be American. This is just one stopping point along the way.
Earthican.
I'm Earthican right now, right? So, no, it's impossible. So when you say, no, you're not. This is just one place you're going to be.
That's the ego.
Right? If I drive in my big rig through Texas, am I Texan now? No, it's just one stop along the way. And if I go to Florida, I'm a Floridian? No, I'm not. I just stopped there for a little while. I visited. I came back. I sweated a lot. That was it.
A
lot. So when you say I'm American, no, you're not. You are identifying with your vessel. Your vessel is just a meat suit. You are your soul. You are not your vessel. And remember that. And our souls are not bound to any one ethnicity or any one gender. That's how LGBTQ works. So knowing that, that's another topic for another day.
Future show.
Well, so before we wrap this up, is there anything that either one of you, any other final thoughts that you guys would like to share regarding the repercussions of fear and hate?
I actually made notes today because this is an important subject.
You didn't even look at them at all.
There is one.
Okay, what's that?
And realistically, there are certain things where they're grand in their density, as far as like how important they are and how much it's going to devastate that human when they go through a past life review. And one of them is Elon. So when Elon cut USAID, he had all these excuses. His ego came up with all these excuses. There was fraud. There wasn't going to the people. Doesn't matter. You cut it. Your action, your intent, your action. So if even one person, even one child starves, you'll feel that. If 2 children starve, you'll feel that. If 10,000 children starve or don't have medicine and die horrible deaths, you'll feel that. If 1 million children starve, you will feel it all at once. So just know that when you have great power comes great responsibility. Trademark that, right? But no, seriously, when you have that much power, man, you got to do your best to do good for humanity, because money just exaggerates who you are. Exactly. And learn to be a good human, because if you have that money, helping people, using that money as energy to help people, man, it's going to play out awesome in your past life review. And we spend 99%, our souls spend 99% of their time on the other side of the veil. We're only here 80 years if we're lucky.
So let's use our time wisely.
Yes.
To develop our soul and not create negative karma for ourselves.
And there could be people watching this show or thinking, well, are you not judging these people and you're kind of coming after the other side? Right. But I'm speaking truth here. I don't have the time for hate for them. I am enraged by their actions.
It's the action,
because
not
I
them.
feel I am just empathetic and feel the impact of what they're doing to families and communities, right? And but I do not send the big fuck yous out to them.
Right.
Right? I don't. And I don't do it in thought either. My wife who's off camera knows that I got to go process shit a lot because I cannot do that because I am responsible for the same karma that they are. Mm-hmm. I have the same past review as the other side. Right. Right. And I don't want it coming back to me.
Right.
So when Brandy's saying there's just some last things you want to do, this is how I send the best way I know how love to those on the other side. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Is take that deep breath. Send peace to our leader and our president. Deep breath. Peace to our leaders and president. Mm-hmm. Peace to our leaders and president. It's the best I got right now.
And really, that's really all that it takes, because now are you embodying hate? Are you embodying fear? No. What are you sending out? It has to start within us. Yeah. So then therefore, what do you have within you? Peace. Right?
Yeah.
And so that's why we don't send hate out. We don't send all of that. Sure, are we judging the actions, but we're also using the power of discernment to observe. Right. And then from that place of observation and understanding and knowing, we share that.
Right.
In hopes that other people will make better choices. Right.
And that's one thing is how come you're not going after the left? They're burning cars and breaking windows. I'm like, wait a second. I can go in my backyard and break all the windows I want. There's no soul attached. There's no repercussions for it. Now, somebody will have to pay, but you're not going to feel that horrendous sorrow.
Because you're not doing it to another living being.
You're not doing it to another human being. Yeah, they burnt a car that belonged to a corporation. Both are soulless. Now, not to say it's right.
It's not. It's not.
It's not.
It's
That's not the way to
destruction.
Show. But some people are very frustrated. I understand this. But there's not a huge repercussion. Some people may have gotten scared when they saw the fire of a car burning. But that's it. It's not as devastating.
Not the trauma that is
not, and they're not outwardly hurting humans. When you hurt a human, when you go back home, you don't get judged on what you did to your car or what you did to a window. You get judged on how you treated other humans. So it says, be good to your neighbor. Treat others the way you wish to be treated. Those are the golden rules, and there's a reason for it. Because past life review, that's all you get judged on, how you treated each other.
And with that, I'm going to move on to this. This just in. Thank you to Cinnamon off camera. Dalai Lama quotes on compassion. Our prime purpose in this life is to help others. And if you can't help them, at least don't hurt them. Peace does not mean an absence of conflicts, because differences will always be there.
Right. And I think hopefully with this show, because people are like, well, that's a nice sentiment. But when you actually understand the repercussions of your anger and hatred towards others, and you outwardly show it to them, and you get to feel when you show hatred or anger or violence towards another human, whether you feel like they deserve it or not, you're literally doing it to yourself, because we are all connected on the other side of the veil, and we get to feel the repercussions of our actions of love and our actions of hate. So when you do that, you are literally doing it to yourself, because that person is recording just as you're recording your through your five senses and emotions. He's recording through his five senses and emotions. Yeah. So when you get to this, you get to feel both sides. So as even people that hit them, like MMA, when you hit somebody, right, you get to feel that on their side of the veil. That is literally, you're literally hitting yourself. You just don't realize it. When you feel that person going through the exhaustion and all this, because of your actions, you're literally doing it to source, because that memory is going to source. You're literally, God's going to feel being beat, what it feels like to get beat up. And then you get to relive it when you go through it. And so that's why I'm always careful of what kind of sports I watch.
And truly, it's all about the intention.
It is the intention.
The intention, too. Well, thank you guys so much for doing this show today. Thank you so much for being here and sharing, your wisdom and your knowledge and your understanding. I know that this is a heavy topic. This is heavy times that we're in right now. And the best thing we can do is to keep that love in our heart and keep that joy in our focus. It doesn't mean that those conflicts and problems don't exist. It doesn't mean that we're putting our heads in the sand and saying, oh, no, everything's great. Nothing bad's happening. No, we still have to. But like you were saying, what can I do in that moment? I can't go help these people to learn and grow any better or faster, but I'm not going to send hate out there. I'm going to send love. I'm going to send peace. Right. I'm going to do what I can do in this moment. And how do we do that? By cultivating it within ourselves first. First. That's why we do our spiritual practice. That's why we have these conscious conversations where we're actually thinking about things. We're not just doing a spiritual bypass where we say all is well. In the end,
you have to do the practice because
you have to.
My willpower is not strong enough because the fuck yous are right behind the door.
We have to develop
right? And
that.
my willpower is not strong enough to keep them out. So it's got that active processing and working and relationships.
So with that being said, thank you for joining us today. Always have love and laughter in your heart and keep moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you.